up, YouTube? It's your boy Vic, and I am the Brooklyn Watch Guy. If this is your first time on my channel focuses on watches, watch buying, watch collecting, watch reviews, unboxings, pretty much in the affordable range, which to me is about $1,000 or less. If that's your thing, I'll ask you to please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know every time I put new content up. Today I'm going to be doing a review video on this guy right here. This is the Seiko Solar Tuna. This is a pretty nice little watch. Well, it's not little, but it's a pretty nice watch. I got it at a good price. I've been wearing it around, and I'm anxious to talk about it with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I want to give you guys a brief introduction into the world of tunas, because there's a lot of them. The Seiko Tuna itself has been around since 1975. First versions were mechanical. Then 3 years later in 78, they introduced the quartz versions. Like as I said when I opened up, this one is a solar, which is pretty much a quartz, has a quartz battery, but it's getting its power from the solar cells, which are usually right under the dial. That's what keeps the watch going. And pretty much you'll never have to replace this battery. I don't want to say never, but you know, things do get messed up. But the watch, it'll last you for a very long time if you take care of it. The Tuna was introduced in 1975 for saturation divers in Japan. Prior to that, they used regular Seiko divers, and you know, one of them or a few of them wrote to Seiko, and they complained that although the watches were good, after prolonged periods underwater, water would get in and ruin the watches, which for them was bad. If you're not familiar with a saturation diver is, these are divers who they spend prolonged periods underwater at great depths working. They could be welders, they could be salvaging and things like that. It's much more complex than that, but that's just a very brief into what a saturation diver is. They pretty much work in very harsh environments, so they need as much reliable equipment as they can get. They need everything to be reliable, pretty much. So the Tuna was made for those kind of divers in mind, which is why it has its frame and it's built like a tank. So this is the Solar Tuna. Specs wise, it's pretty much on par with the other tunas in the lineup. Well, the ones that are not professional. As you know, there are different levels of tuna. You have the professional, which is a 300 meters water resistance, and then there's the Marine Masters, which I believe those aren't made anymore, but those are 1,000 meters of water resistance. Those are very, very expensive to get your hands on. If you do, they don't make them anymore. I mean, I saw one on Chrono 24 for like $4,000. The professionals, the 300 meters water resistance ones, you can get those, you know, maybe for around $1,500 to $2,000. They're not cheap watches. This particular version, I got this on eBay, and I paid a little more than $200. It was the floor display model, so I got a discount because of that. But on average, they're in the $280 to $300, $350 range. That's the range you see them. This particular model is the SNE 541P1. It belongs to the Seiko Street Collection, which is kind of like I don't want to say fashion oriented, because I don't want to say Seiko's a fashion brand, but that's pretty much, when you look at the Seiko sports line, street sports line, you know, that's how it's promoted, like very fashion forward. But this is definitely not a fashion watch. This is a professional diver's watch. This has got all the specs. It meets. It is a part of the Pro Specs line, which is considered to be a tool watch, a professional watch range. I know sometimes you see Seiko watches with the X on the dial, which signifies it's part of the Pro Specs line. And then you have one like this one. This is my Arnie. This one is actually part of the Patty line. Essentially, there's no differences between the watch, you know, how they're dialed. The only difference is that this one, the Patty line, was made in conjunction with the Professional Association of Diving Instructors. They actually had a say in the design and the build of the watch. But otherwise, whether it's labeled PADI, whether it's labeled Prospex, you're going to get the same performance out of the watches. The watches do not differ in any way other than just variation. That's really all it comes down to. I know some people prefer one or the other. I really don't care. To me, it's not that serious. I'm not a professional diver anyway. I just like Seiko. I'm a Seiko fanboy, if you guys haven't noticed, if you haven't followed on the IG. And yeah, I like the watch for style. I do work in a harsh environment, so they do serve a purpose for me. They are tool watches for me. I brought the Arnie as kind of like a comparison. You can see these watches are very similar. The Arnie is actually slightly bigger, and both wear great. I will say though that after a while of wearing either one, you know, a few hours in a day, they do start to wear down on you. At least me. So keep that in mind if you're looking into getting one of these watches. But that's pretty much why I brought the Arnie down. So you just gotta get a comparison. Both of them have the Seiko Wave case back, which tells you that these watches are both professional divers. So like I said, really no difference between PADI and Prospex. They both get the job done. They're both great watches. So this Tuna, it comes with a caliber V157 movement, which is a solar movement. And like I said earlier in the video, it's basically, I don't want to say it's a quartz battery, but it's a module or a battery cell that's connected to a panel. The solar panel is behind the dial. And that's where it gets its power from. As long as you wear it outside, the battery will have a charge in it. Seiko claims these watches, fully charged, will have a 10-month life. Also, it has a built-in overcharge feature, so you can't overcharge the battery, which is always great because it extends the life of it. Stainless steel, aluminum bezel insert. One thing about the bezel on this, I find it hard to turn. It's 120 clicks, by the way. But I just, like, there's not enough grip on it. To me, it's just not tall enough. So I struggle turning it, and I just took it off center. But now, compare this one to the Arnie. Much easier to grip and turn. So maybe that's one thing I don't necessarily like about this one. Not that I'm diving and not that I need to keep track of minutes elapsed or whatever, but you know, I wish I had more space here to grab and twist. The case is a composite plastic, not the lightest in the world, but it's not bulky. It's not gonna hurt you. It's not heavy. It's not gonna wear you down. Lumibright on the dial. And man, this thing is a loom. I don't want to say monster. It is a loom beast because Seiko has a monster. But this thing is sick on the loom. And let me tell you, this loom will last a while. As I stated in previous videos, I do work in dark environments. And I'll wear this outside. And I'm not outside that much at my job. So, you know, maybe 15-20 minutes at the most, and when I'm back under, this thing is just bright, man. It is bright, and it lasts, man, like 30-45 minutes before it starts to fade away. And it fights. It doesn't go away without a fight. So if you're a loom person, and I love loom, this is a great watch, man. The loom on this thing is sick. As I stated earlier, you get the 200 meters of water resistance. It is written on the dial. 660 feet for those of you who don't want to convert. Silicone band. One thing I'm not too thrilled about with this. The silicone that they use is I don't want to say it's stiff. It's definitely flexible, but it's a little on the hard side. So it's not that comfortable. Also, if you notice, they don't have the metal keeper as they do on the Arnie. Also, the silicone on the Arnie just feels softer to me. It's better. I don't know if they have a different provider or whatnot, but the band on the Arnie is definitely better than this one. Of course, this being a Seiko, you're going to get a Hardlex crystal. That's just how they operate. What'd you get? 12 millimeters thickness, diameter 46.7, 22 millimeter lug width, so you can put bands on it, which I'm probably gonna end up doing it. I'm probably gonna end up switching this to a NATO. I'm just not a fan of this silicone. But other than that, those are the specs on the watch. Let me give you some looks on wrist. So you can see what the Tuna looks like on my wrist. I don't have the biggest wrist in the world. It does come out a bit though. So, but otherwise I wear it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't get in the way. I can move freely, you know. It doesn't weigh me down too much. Just over a longer period of time, you do start to notice that your watch is there and you do want to take it off. At least that's been my experience with it. But it's been very reliable. It's been great. It's been tough. I mean, I bang it around. It's been holding up. Maybe some scratches on the bezel that I'm starting to notice. But I have no complaints otherwise, man. This is a great watch. Solid watch from Seiko. Like I said, man, Seiko gives you a lot of bang for your buck. You know, you get a lot of watch for not a lot of price for the most part with Seiko. So if you need a good work watch, you can't go wrong looking into them. So with that said, I'm going to give you my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on the Seiko Solar Tuna. It's a Seiko. There's really nothing else to say. If you need a reliable watch that's going to take a beating, it's going to do the job for you, it's going to tell time, you work in a tough environment, you can't go wrong with this guy. If you can get it at a great price like me, even better. You know, search eBay. These things there's plenty of them on sale. There's a lot of different color styles and bezel styles, especially with the street collection. They have a bunch of different colors to suit your taste. But great watch. I wish the strap was a little better, but they can't always be perfect. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to conclude this review. I hope for those who stick through, thank you very much. Please like, subscribe. I will see you guys on my next one. Peace. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Vic, the Brooklyn Watch Guy. If you like my videos, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you know every time I put new content up. Peace.